I have a theory where suffering is a part of life, right? And once you overcome that suffering, it leads to growth. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wiser Together. This is your host, Parmeet Kumar, joined with my brother and the co host of this podcast, Anas Pasha.
Hi guys, how are you, Prameet?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
Great, thank you so much for asking. How's your day going?
My day's been amazing, on point, as per schedule.
Uh huh.
Uh, yeah.
What's up?
Uh,
Like, what did you do?
I think I shared this before with you, and we'll dive right into it.
You're supposed to attend a session, and we said that we discuss over here.
Yeah, so I did a Wim Hof workshop today. It was a 4 hour workshop where one of uh, Wim Hof instructors takes you through that process of they share the information with you. It's kind of like a seminar, and then we do breathing techniques. We practice them, and then we do a cold plunge. So this friend of mine, I've actually shared this before with you. I met him
Yes,
at my boxing gym, and he's
he likes our
he
podcast.
he loves our podcast, and he
Yeah,
actually said that he would recommend it to
oh, that is amazing.
his twins, 15-year-old twins. So if he's
That is
gonna be
amazing.
listening to this, he's probably be laughing listening to this. But
Shout out to you,
yeah.
brother. What's his name?
His name is Julian. We call him Jules.
Julian. Shout out to you, Jules.
Yeah, so wonderful, wonderful guy, and we really connected in the boxing gym. Uh, he really understood what we were trying to do here with the podcast when he watched the first episode as well, and he was someone that he felt like he shared with me that had I discovered the things you're discovering right now while I was younger, my life would have been different and better. Or that is what he implied. Maybe I'm not sure if that is exactly what he's trying to say to me, but. To come to the point, he's a level 3 Wim Hof instructor. Uh, that just might not mean anything to a lot of people if you don't know who Wim Hof is. Uh,
Yes. Why don't you?
he,
Yeah, why don't you tell us? Why don't you go
yeah.
like give
Do
us a
you
little background?
do you know much about Wim Hof?
Yes, correct. Through you, and that was because of the breathing techniques and because of the cold showers. So I know
Yeah.
him through that.
So they call him the Iceman, as a lot of people know him by that name. He's he just promotes uh, a living that incorporates cold exposure and certain breathing techniques he established this method which he calls the Wim Hof method, and it encompasses certain kind of breathing, cold exposure, and a mindset and a commitment to that method and the practice he shares, right? So I mean, I've shared a lot with you before as well.
Definitely, definitely. There's a lot to unpack here. Yeah,
He's one of my
and it seems like a pretty nice
mentor.
guy.
Wim Hof is
Yeah,
full
it's
of
a life. Yeah, it's just a positive
he's
vibe with him.
oh my god, he's got so much energy. He's a force of nature. When you see, he's
Yeah.
65 by the way, right? And a lot of people maybe not know about him, but if you do, you may be familiar with. He's known for climbing Mount Everest in his shorts.
Oh no way.
Yeah,
Okay.
without oxygen, without any kind of equipment, just his shorts and shoes.
I see. That is why he's the Iceman.
Exactly. And he does he's so crazy. Like he does these kind of super human things. He ran a marathon in the Arctic Circle in freezing temperatures in his shorts, and
But then, for me,
then
this is he's preaching like what he's teaching, right? Like walking the
exactly.
talk.
Exactly. So I really look up to him. He's one of my mentors, and I discovered him last year. Uh, in the middle of last year in 2022, and I read his book and everything, and he really shares his method and how to start the breathing techniques and how to ease yourself into the cold and why the cold is so good for you. And then at this time, obviously, I was looking at a bunch of different documentaries and stuff, and everybody recommending looking at different studies why cold is so good for you. And it's been about 5 months now, 5 or 6 months. I haven't gone a single day without taking a cold shower, and I genuinely see the
And you
benefits of it.
want all of us to start as well.
Yeah, because it's I managed to get my mom to start. She's here now. I managed to get my brother and sister-in-law to start when I was in Dubai. I'm not sure if they're still doing it. And in Dubai, the water isn't that cold, so it's
Yeah,
yeah,
you see, this is what I told him that I also started, and he's like, I don't know about the water temperature in Dubai. I don't know if
yeah,
what like your cold shower is supposed to be. I'm like, dude, I can't like, I don't know, like, I can't first of all measure it. And if I had the option, I would collect as many ice cubes as I can and keep
yeah,
throwing them over my head. I don't know. I mean, to me, it's I mean, the handle is all the way to the right side. That's where the cold water is supposed to come
yeah.
from. So I do that.
Do you feel
Um,
uncomfortable? You've tried that, right?
of course, because
It's
you see, the first touch of water on your body, if it's
yeah,
cold, it's just like people know how it feels like. It is definitely uncomfortable. So, but then you get used to it. Like if you work your way from your feet, then to your legs, and then like from your lower body to your upper body, then like that makes it easier for me. That's my trick. But again, we
yeah.
don't know how cold we're talking about. You need to tell us like what's the like the scale
So I'll
temperature.
I'll get into it, but
Yeah,
how I how I always share that, making sure you find a way to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, right?
correct.
And one might not be able to do that every day. Cold shower is something that is so accessible to everyone. It's you take a shower anyway every day, and it's just and that is something like you don't need to do it, but if you do it and you believe in it, uh, it will. It's just there's obviously the health benefits of it, which I'll explain in a minute. But how I got convinced to do it was I watched this documentary, TED Talk. I'll put it up in the description as well. And that guy, what he shared was that he didn't come at it from all the health benefits a point of view. He just said that when I wake up, the first thing I do in the day is take a cold shower, right? And because you are putting yourself in a situation where you're uncomfortable, you're doing something that you're not supposed to do, but you do it anyway. In that situation, the mind will be going crazy. Before you get in the cold shower, your mind is saying 1,000 things to you, right? But regardless of that, you do it anyway. You overcome those excuses and doubts that mind throws at you, and you practice that art of overcoming every day, every day, every day. You keep doing that, you're just better equipped to sort of adapt to other uncomfortable situation in the same manner. You know, if another uncomfortable situation comes across to you, in that day because you that's how you started your day and that's what you've been practicing, not listening to the excuses of the mind but doing something uncomfortable anyway, even though you don't have to, right? But you just do it regardless just so you can shut this off and you can win mentally, right? So that was the aspect of it, how I got into it. And in the beginning it's really hard, but it gets better. From the health side of things, as I got more and more into it, my information on this is obviously very like here and there. So I'm coming at it
Of
from
course, yeah.
all angles. So I'm just sharing that perspective.
No,
And
but before we get into the health aspect of it, because there are
yeah,
many, and you've always talked to me about so many things regarding this. When you were talking about doing the first thing, which is uncomfortable, and the thing that you're not supposed to do, it sort of reminded me towards the thing about making your bed.
yeah,
It's one of those things, but like you're not supposed to make your bed. You can leave your bed as it is. You're not
yeah,
supposed to put yourself under cold water to like just make a statement to your mind that, like, I'm not going to be a slave to you, and I am going to do the thing which is hard. And I believe these things set us up for a tremendous day. And especially as to how you said it, that we should be struggling, we should do things which are uncomfortable every day. To
Hmm.
start off by taking a cold shower, I can only imagine, because I don't do that. I think I should, because this is definitely going to like send some crazy neurological signals to the brain, like just imagine your brain neurons on fire, like, what is
Yeah,
up with this guy, is this guy gone nuts? But I believe that aspect of us would set up us for a tremendous day, because I make my bed when I wake up. So although I just want to get on with my day, but when I do that, there's those thoughts as well. So, guys, like
exactly.
making your bed and taking the shower, I think that's a crazy combination.
And there's levels to it. You can't compare it to making your bed for sure, but start with
Oh yeah,
making
for
your bed.
sure. For sure.
Start with making your bed for sure.
For sure. Start with, yeah. There's
Yeah,
we can do it like this way. Like, start with making your bed and then go into the cold shower.
yeah.
Because I'll be honest, yeah, cold shower is definitely, it takes the cake. It's the most hard. You can't take a cold shower in the afternoon if it's like you have like
You you still
I
can. It's
mean,
the example I was giving. It was just like as an analogy. You can take it
okay,
whenever you like to. I don't. It's not that I wake up first thing in the morning, I make my bed, and I take a cold shower. No, it's
okay,
just that the first shower I take, which is around 8 a.m. It's so I wake up. That's how my routine is. I do my meditation and stuff, and I go to the gym, and I come back, and then I take a shower. So that first shower is a cold shower, and the second shower I take, depending on when it is. If it's later in the night, then I'll take a warm shower because that's better for sleep.
yeah,
Uh,
that's better for sleeping. Yeah.
yeah. So this
So
was
you're
a
talking about the health benefits, yeah.
yeah this was a huge mental benefit for me. Like just doing something constantly again and again and again, and setting that tone with your mind that okay, if I decided I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. We're not negotiating, right? I'm not sitting around
Yes.
with you contemplating for 30 minutes why I should do this and you're telling me why I shouldn't do this. This is the chat I'm having with my mind, right? It could be the same if you're going to the gym as well. You just sit and think, should I go? Should I not go? Should I go? Should I not go? Why are we having this negotiation, right? So it's I just want to get over that. You set your mind to something, you decide to do something. That's it. You just gotta make sure you tell this that I'm not
Who's the boss?
negotiating who the boss is, and I'm not negotiating. This isn't the decision has already been made. You know how Kobe Bryant says this a lot as well. I don't know if you're aware, but he said pre-season I set out my schedule, and that is the contract I set with myself, and I'm not going to be negotiating on that. And I just make sure my mind knows that. And obviously, there's going to be ups and downs and challenges along the way, but it just then it comes down to your self will and how mentally strong you are. So that's how I got into it. Then I discovered it has immense health benefits. Also, I didn't start in day one. I had a struggle, which I'll go through it.
Yeah, I'll come to this as well.
Yeah. So from on the health side of things, I'll put another uh, video in the description that really explained it to me in simple 2 plus 2 terms. What the health benefits of it are. Are you aware of Johnny Harris?
Johnny Harris, yeah, of course. The
Yeah.
YouTuber,
So
right?
yeah,
The
yeah,
box
yeah.
guy, Maps.
Exactly. Yeah. He doesn't work for Vox anymore. He does his own.
Yeah, he does his own.
Yeah, he has his own channel. Amazing, amazing. I love his journalism.
But I don't think he takes a shower. He said that.
No, no, no. He doesn't use shampoo.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, he
sorry. I
doesn't
missed that
shampoo.
out.
Yeah, yeah. Shampoo is a very it's in we've been commercialized as we have in this world, and
Yes.
shampoo is an example of that. He has an amazing video on that as well, and why he doesn't shampoo. And actually, it's a fact. It's not good for your hair. Uh, but it's a long discussion. If you want to have a look, people can look it up. Johnny Harris and
You
why
wanna
why
you wanna
why.
put this video link up as well?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
we can
We'll
definitely
add
do
that.
that. Yeah, but the other video that I'll briefly touch on was that he went to Iceland and he said why cold water and hot water both are important to you. So what happens is that when you put yourself in the in warm water or in a warm environment, be it sauna or hot water or jacuzzi, whatever, right? What happens is that your body temperature goes up, right? So the core main organs you have, which is your heart, liver, lungs, and your brain, they push blood out to your extremities, right? Your fingers and your toes and all of that. So that because if
Okay, that's why we feel the most at these extremities.
yeah,
Okay. Either
yeah,
cold or either hot. Yeah. Okay. That's why you need gloves and like warm
yeah,
socks and
because
stuff.
your body does that because your body has to maintain a specific temperature, which is 36 point something. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on this, but that it has to maintain that certain temperature. 1 degree above or below, and you literally die, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
so when you put yourself in a warm environment, be it, let's say, for example, sauna, that tells your body, oh my God, the temperature is rising, we're going to die. So your body, in response to that, sends out blood to your extremities to keep yourself, to keep the blood flowing and to maintain that temperature within your body. Right now, in reality, in our day-to-day lives, we get a lot of opportunity to do this because we're always comfortable, we're just cozy and in our blankets, and uh, we do a lot of exercise and stuff as well. So our body gets a lot of opportunity to send blood out to these extremities, right? The opposite happens when you put yourself in the cold, right? When you expose yourself to the cold, your body temperature goes down. The four main organs, they say that leave the extremities. We need to protect the four main organs, which is your heart, lungs, and liver and brain. And the body pushes blood back in. So pushing out, that's very your body is used to this because you're always in a comfortable environment. But when it pushes in, those uh, uh, blood vessels, they kind of like expand a little bit as well, right? And the blood keeps comes rushing back to your four main organs. So cold helps you do that. We don't get an opportunity. This used to happen a lot back in the day. This is the same response your body gets when you're in a fight or flight situation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So, and obviously, back in the day when we were hunters and gatherers, we used to get a lot of opportunity to do this because we were hunting. We didn't know where our meal is coming from. We're always like looking out for danger and animals and whatnot. So that uh, trigger used to be way more frequent in our body, but it doesn't happen anymore, right? We don't put ourselves through a situation that uh, gets that fight or flight response going on in our body, right? There's a lot more to it. I've probably not the best. It's very
I
scientific, so
no, I think this is first of all, I'm blown away. I had no idea because to me, a lot of the athletes that I watch, they're always taking the cold plunge. Our favorite podcaster Joe Rogan as well, like he loves
yeah,
taking the cold plunge
yeah.
after his MMA sessions to reduce inflammation. I had no idea that this also provided fresh blood to the organs. Like just imagine, guys, your brain, your lungs, your liver, and your heart is getting fresh supply of blood and in
Yeah,
such a scientific way. It has blown me away. This is like a cheat code.
it is a
It is a
cheat
cheat
code.
code.
It's like it's superhuman. It's because your blood vessels are
Can
broader
you
as well.
please read more and attend more sessions on this, because I have just like these 5 minutes were tremendous for me. It's like just
Yeah.
I think I can hear my brain, lungs, liver, and what was the last one? Anyways, all four of
heart
them
heart is
thanking.
the most
Yeah,
important.
heart is always thanking you, but all three of them are not thanking you as well.
Yeah.
But the jokes aside, this is actually tremendous, and it. I was just thinking when you mentioned that he did this, he climbed the Everest and he did this Arctic marathon
Yeah,
in shorts. It just sounds impossible,
impossible it
and
is. Yeah,
how the things that you explained right now, I believe those principally explain us how he was able to achieve this. It is just tremendous.
it's
I'm blown
it
away.
yeah, so he does this through Wim Hof Method, which is his own, which is breathing, cold exposure, and mindset. The breathing part of it is very fundamental as well, and it's not just breathe in, breathe out. This is some very intense breathing, and honestly, I was almost. So I did this session today. We just uh,
Yeah,
uh,
quickly you can touch base on this because I feel like breathing would be another significant pillar of this. And yeah, why don't you just touch base us on this?
Yeah, so if you read the book or you watch videos as well, you can find out. But he just suggests you do 30 roughly inhales and exhales. And inhales are like full from your stomach to your chest and up to your brain, like your brain hurts. You inhale that much, and you exhale not like like fully, like that's fully. Like, but I just do it in like one go,
The
and you
entire
breathe.
thing.
Not the entire thing. So you're breathing in more than you're breathing out,
Okay.
right? You can watch a video on this as well if I'm not explaining it properly. But you do that 30
No, no,
times,
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
and then the 30th time you breathe out and you just hold your breath for as long as you can. And then once you need to breathe in, you breathe in again and hold your breath for 10 seconds and then do the cycle again. So you do that three, four, five times. It gets very, very, very intense. Was
I can
I,
imagine.
I felt unconscious a few times throughout the practice today.
Yeah, you get high on oxygen.
Oh, bro, it's try doing it
Guys,
like
that is a thing. That is a thing. By the way, you can get high on oxygen, and I
yeah,
believe this
yeah.
is what he has stumbled upon.
It was so powerful. Like I've done this before, but like today, obviously had an instructor and he was guiding us, and it was proper, and it just I was blown.
So
It was
we
so
are,
like
I mean,
yeah, go
through
on.
Wim Hof's practices, we're able to get both fresh supply of oxygen and blood to the
Yeah,
vital parts of the. And I'm curious. We know that your fight is coming up pretty soon, next week
yeah.
actually. So, are these practices being? First of all, tell us about your fight. What is that, and how's that going? And after that, tell us if you are incorporating these methods into your training sessions.
Yeah, fight's coming up next week. 6 days to go. Counting days, honestly. Uh, it's going well. I'm physically ready, mentally as well ready. I'm just trying to be better and better every day. These things can be very overwhelming, but these practices, meditation, breathing techniques, they really help me calm me down and help me be grounded and just remind me of why I do this and all of that. So cold exposures is something like we mentioned before, right? Because those vessels expand, they more blood can pass through, and because more blood can pass through, your immunity is better as well. And not to, I didn't mention that cold, being in the cold, it produces white blood cells as well. So my immunity's been great. I just genuinely believe that this really helps me in a lot of ways. Be my immunity in from health perspective and from mentally as well because I put myself in the uncomfortable situation every day. So that's why I mentioned to Jules as well. Like I want to do this before the fight, so I can kind of take away some of these practices and do them in the fight week
Absolutely.
and which will I believe they help me in a lot of
I
ways.
think they will because you've scientifically explained it as well. I mean, there's just it will. There is
Yeah.
no doubt about it. I
Today
think
was
so.
intense because obviously I'm
Yeah.
used to cold showers. I've been doing that since 5 6 months. I haven't skipped a day. But ice bath is another level. So he had an ice bath today at the end, which was roughly 3 degrees, I would say, and
Oof.
it's kind of cold in Australia already. So yeah, went in the ice bath. I was in there for 8 minutes. Uh, the two is good enough. And when Wim Hof was there, I went to see him as well, and we did an ice bath session together. He was like 5 feet away from me. It's just blows my mind away that I get to see my mentors. And anyway, I did that time for 2 minutes, and I've done it several times before as well, up to 4 or 5 minutes. But today I got to the 8 minute mark. It was icy cold.
Okay, that is amazing. You've doubled your yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but it's just you feel so
So
powerful.
Yeah, I think it's one thing that you must first of all do it before the fight. I think it's going to help you because
Yeah.
you believe it in so much, and it has helped you throughout this time, especially in your training. You mentioned it to me yesterday that your training session was a bit rough and that you were bleeding from the nose as well. So do you think
Yeah.
because of these sessions, these ice sessions, because I do know that these help in recovery as well, they reduce inflammation. So do you think that has played a role in how quickly you can recover?
Yeah, I actually had an injury like a few weeks ago. My back was hurt. I think I don't know what exactly it was, and I went to the physio as well and stuff. And I recovered so quickly. It was in like 2 3 days I recovered, and I couldn't walk properly, and I recovered in 3 days. And obviously, a lot of these things are not very quantifiable. You can't put your finger on it, but it's just if you it's all about at the end of the day it's about feeling right. Don't get me wrong, there's tons and tons of studies, academic studies, tests, experiments done on this that prove the benefits of being in the cold and these breathing techniques and how they genuinely make your immunity stronger, make you stronger and better and more healthier. But for my personal experience, I go by feeling. I haven't had any tests done on me, so I just go by feeling and what I think it's doing to me or what I feel, right? So I think it helps me tremendously, even if it doesn't, for say, which I believe it does. But even if it doesn't, the mental aspect of it you just can't take away because you're putting yourself in that uncomfortable situation every day, right? And it's just so something, you know how I like to share, Roger does this now. For the longest time, he was like, no, cold showers, what? Yeah, I don't have to do this. And, all these excuses come out. I try and share with all my friends, whoever does. I've tried with you as well, obviously, but you don't have that access to cold water,
Guys,
which is
again,
which is fine.
it's
But Roger started, which makes me so happy. And now he tells me, bro, it's day 30, it's day 40, day 50. I've been taking cold shower, and then it just makes me feel so good and strong. And I just want to mention as well that the dopamine release from cold showers is the same as cocaine, which it takes
oh
up to
wow.
250%, right? And this has been studied as well. You can obviously look this up. But with cocaine, there's obviously different drugs, and cocaine is the highest, which is equal to cold showers as well. It goes up to 250% and then it dips. Whereas with cold showers, it goes up and then it's falling gradually. It doesn't dip. Like so, you have that dopamine throughout like 3 4 hours, right?
Okay, now we know. Now you
It's
have. Now you're gonna make a lot of people addicted to cold showers
yeah. Just leave
for other
coffee.
reasons.
Yeah, it's just oh my god, it's amazing. That's why I want people to start. And I want to briefly mention that I struggled a lot with it in the beginning. Uh, and I just want to share one of the practices I did that helped me get through it. Because in the beginning, sometimes I would do it, sometimes I wouldn't do it. Wim Hof recommends that once you start, take a warm shower till the end, and then because you got to go step by step, right? From day one, you can't go
Yes.
into an ice bath. So take a warm shower. In the end, turn it to fully cold, or however much whatever temperature
So the coldest temperature you can have, yeah.
you can have for 10 seconds. Start with 10 seconds and build it up. Eventually you want to take it 2 minutes, and then you want to do ice baths and stuff. So sometimes I did it, sometimes I didn't do it. I did 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Sometimes I couldn't do it, I wasn't feeling it, the mind got the better of me. And then eventually I started doing these practices, which is self discovered, established,
Uh,
whatever. And
okay.
which is something I've preached before as well, which is just being in the present moment. So not listening to your thoughts. So while I'm in the shower, I'm having these thoughts, and bear in mind, obviously, when I'm in an uncomfortable situation, the thoughts multiply, and there's way too many of them. I talk. I talk back to the mind, or I talk to myself. Be it anything. Say whatever you want. Oh, I can do this. I'm here. You can't get me. Say whatever you want. But what that does is that allows you to be present, because while you're talking back to the mind isn't generating much thoughts. right? So you're forced to be in the
Yes.
present moment. Because you're in the present moment, you're not at the mercy of the thoughts of your mind, and that kind of helps you uh, kind of be in there for longer or with more ease. So try this out. I used to shout. Sometimes when I get in now as well, I'm like, let's
It is.
go!
Yeah, it is.
Let's
Yeah.
go. And it
You
really
you make
helps.
a high pitched scream like woo
Yeah, yeah, you can do
like
whatever
that.
you
Yeah, you
want,
have
but
to.
while you're talking, it just you don't give your mind a chance to talk back to you with thoughts and stuff. So you're in control. You're in the present moment. There isn't much thought of you being in the cold because you're just focused on talking or shouting or whatever you're doing, and then eventually just build it up. You never, I don't think physically you ever get used to it. Mentally you do, because it's just that once you keep doing something, you just remind yourself, oh, I've done this before, so I can do it again. I don't think physically you ever get used to it because it's always
Yeah,
as told.
it's just that uncomfortable threshold. Once
Hmm.
we experience it, we understand that it's this terminology called hedonic adaptation, which is just that okay, we dread something that is, for example, going to be on a pain scale of 11, but when we actually experience it, it's actually maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So like you said, like when you're doing those things, your mind is telling you that Permeet, this is, don't do it, this is 12. Okay, you don't need to, you have a good comfortable life, you have a
Yeah.
good day ahead of you, why are you putting yourself
Yeah.
at
Well,
a
you
12?
don't need to, exactly.
Exactly. And then you can talk back, you can like, bro, I've done this is not a 12, you're exaggerating, you're being
I've done
melodramatic,
exactly.
this is 6.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like your mind, obviously, because you've done this before, your mind also knows because you've done this before. It should be fine. But the physical side of it, you know, I don't think you get used to it because it's always the same amount of cold. But mentally, because you've been through that suffering before, it just makes it easier. So the more you do it, and eventually, like after you do it for a few months, you wouldn't want to go back because it just freshens you up so much. You have so much energy. You have this release of dopamine.
Yeah, of
Your
course, same as cocaine,
adrenaline
of
is
course.
so
Why would
rush.
anyone go back?
Exactly.
It would,
Like it's
guys, save a lot of your money, please. Just take cold
yeah,
showers.
exactly. It's just the
And
health benefits are the health
tremendous,
benefits are
yeah.
just
And in the
tremendous.
honorable words of David Goggins, by the end of it, we have calloused our minds.
Exactly. This is what I like. These are why I have these two mentors. It's I see them doing things that are impossible. They literally do things that are impossible. So I'm intrigued by their sheer mental toughness, and I just want to dive deeper into it, understand, live it from their perspective, understand their
I
perspective, and
think you are, because you see, like you told me, like and I wanted to ask you this as well. What does it like, because I've shared my experience and I want your experience as well. Like what does it like feel like working while hurting, like because you had your back problem as well. Even right now before the podcast, I asked you about your nose and I asked you about the bleeding, and still you are here, and still after this you're going to go about your day with your family, with yourself. So how what is it about hurting while working? Define your experience.
uh, so I want to come at it. See, suffering is inevitably a part of life, right? And I don't know if we've shared this before on the podcast, but there's voluntary suffering and there's involuntary suffering,
I don't think we have.
right? So there is two kinds of suffering. Suffering is inevitably a part of life, and there's voluntary suffering and there's involuntary suffering, right? Involuntary suffering is things that are obviously not uh, by choice, right? And that could happen in a lot of different ways. I don't need to give an example. You know what I mean, right? You suffer on
More
a day to
like
day basis.
oh, like
Okay,
the
you
but
miss
like
a
how, like
you miss like very randomly.
okay.
You miss the bus. You're late to class. Your friend didn't show up to your birthday. You know
Oh,
it's
but like okay, like so things happening to us basically.
yeah, and not necessarily like the meditation part of it helps you and the stoicism part of it helps you overcome these things. But generally,
Okay.
on a daily basis, you know, you how you suffer or somebody doesn't react to something you
Yeah, but okay, so that's
okay.
I see, but that's like the things that are in our control basically. Okay.
Not necessarily. Let me
Okay.
put it in simple words: things not going according to your expectations.
Uh-huh. Okay.
That causes involuntary suffering,
Involuntary suffering. Okay.
right? So suffering is inevitably a part of life. Voluntary suffering is you going to the gym is voluntary suffering. Me taking a cold shower, that's voluntary suffering. Going in the sauna, voluntary suffering. My mind goes crazy when I meditate, when I journal, I go running. That's all part of voluntary suffering, right? It's not comfortable for the mind. I'm talking about from this point of view now. It's
Yes.
not comfortable for the mind to be doing those things. For the mind wants to relax, watch Netflix, eat a burger, have some fries, drink some Coke, do things that are very comfortable, take a warm shower, So I have a theory where suffering is a part of life, right? And once you overcome that suffering, it leads to growth, right? Be it voluntary or involuntary. Now, a lot of people don't inflict voluntary suffering upon themselves because obviously it's suffering, so they don't want to. But involuntary, they suffer, and once they overcome that, they grow, right? So this growth aspect, this growth part of it, it comes from suffering, right? But overcoming that suffering. So the more you do it, the more you will grow. That's why I put myself through, and you do it as well in different ways. I know, put myself through these acts of voluntary suffering. Involuntary is obviously there in different ways, but voluntary suffering to help myself grow and not fall victim to the involuntary sufferings, which is, let's say, for example, I missed the bus. Then the stoicism part of it comes into play. It's not in my control. Okay, I'm going to be late. That's fine, right? So you just move on. You don't let that hold you or control your emotions, or and then you then grow from it.
Yeah, I believe you have now. First of all, thank you for such a debrief on this, because I believe more of us should be involved in voluntarily um,
Suffering.
making ourselves go through that suffering, because this is what life is about. And
Hmm.
like you mentioned, that the comfort of this modern day life has truly made us a victim of involuntary suffering, and more of us
Yeah.
should turn towards that. And this is where the stoicism part of this comes, and this is the thing called dichotomy of control. So
Hmm.
dichotomy of control is quite simply, it's there are some things which are up to us, and there are some things which are not up to us. That's it. The Stoics explain this in a very simple term. They take the example of archery, like an archer. Think of yourself as an archer enrolled in the Greek or the Roman army, right? Now, as an archer, right? Your goal is, it can be like, for example, in battle, like to kill an enemy soldier, right? Now, how to achieve that goal is, there are going to be things again which are in your control and things which aren't in your control. Things which are in your control is how much archery you practice, right? Like if you are putting in the hours to master a certain skill here in archery, and if you take up the best arrows or the bows, and if you take care, I'm not an archer, so I have no idea, but like sword, you must keep a sword sharp, right? So in terms of archery, you must have the best bow, and then the arrows as well. And then if physically you're feeling good, or like you're not taking care of yourself, so these are things that are in your control. However, in meeting your objective, then comes the part of things which aren't in your control, which is that Stoics say that, the enemy, if you have an aim on the enemy, and if the enemy moves, now that is not under your control. You had your sights, you had your enemy scoped out, but that wasn't in your control. If he moved at the last point, if there is a gust of wind, that is something again that is not in your control. If some physical or certain weatheral changes comes into the battlefield, or even if you are distracted by your friendly soldier, now these are things which aren't in your control in meeting your objective. So this is what dichotomy of control is, and I believe that we have the power to focus on things which are in our control, and which the things which are in our control are these things that you talked about voluntary suffering. I believe I do that through fasting. I have this fasting technique of, I follow this OMAD, which is one meal a day, and
Hmm.
Yeah, which is one meal a day, and that is my way of suffering. It has several health benefits as well and other benefits. I mean, it's just tremendous. It just opens, it unlocks some different thing in your mind. But that is another topic for another day. That is my way of voluntarily suffering, not
There's
having
other
to
ways
eat.
you do that as well. Even waking up at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning,
Yes, yes.
you may not be able to pinpoint it, but there is a lot of other ways as well.
Oh, of
Nobody.
course, that is part of that, definitely.
Yeah,
And
like
this
waking
is,
up early is
yeah.
painful. It's not easy.
It's not easy. Again, it's again that is something we'll talk about as well. That is was a journey as well. But
Yeah,
again, yeah, this was like my dichotomy of control was, as I mentioned in the previous podcast, was being a superior version of myself, being a superior Anas. Now, this is where stoicism helps me a lot, putting things into perspective. It's up to me. It's my choice. It's again, I keep repeating this word, dichotomy of control. Dichotomy, by the way, guys, is just, it's a fancy word of saying division or contrast, fat or thin, light or
level
dark.
of
Yeah, it's just like contrast, like two opposite ends, not some.
spectrum. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And this is where the control things are. And this, I believe that if people just understand that they have the power, that they have the authority, that they have the ability to suffer voluntary or involuntary, as you put it as well, life can just be tremendous. It's just a way of thinking. It's just a way of practice, right? I mean, Parmeet again doesn't need to take cold showers, but he practices his dichotomy of control to supply that fresh amount of oxygen and blood to his blood cells and just be physically, mentally better, right?
Hmm.
No one is putting a gun to his head to practice and go through these things and understanding the power of this aspect of dichotomy of control. So, so
Just
this
want to
is,
add a little bit to that.
yeah,
To summarize, like exactly like you mentioned, obviously you can categorize everything in two things: something that is in your control and not in your control, just like you mentioned, and focusing on something that is in your control. Because what's not in your control
it's
wouldn't
not up to you.
is not up to
It's
you.
not up
So
to,
you
yeah.
thinking about it wouldn't change
It shouldn't
anything.
matter to you.
It
Yeah, it
wouldn't
shouldn't
even
matter to
matter.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the archery example, like sort of uh, what you should care about is your attempt and not the outcome, because attempt is in your control but not the outcome, and that is sort of what we try to do with
Correct.
this
So
podcast as well.
absolutely. So the Roman senator Cicero, he says that because they also used to be practicing practices of Stoicism, so he says that in this example, basically, your attachment should be to your practice, to your craft, to what you did. Like I said, mastering archery, taking care of your bows and arrows, and identifying your target. Right, your attachment should be that. Once you release, once that arrow has been released, you have no control. Your dichotomy of control ends. It has
Yeah,
it like, just imagine, like, till the arrow is in your bow, right? You have the dichotomy of control is in the spectrum of having your control, but as soon as
yeah,
it releases, just imagine this illustration that the arrow is now going to the opposite side, where you do not have control, where the enemy can move at any second. He could just shake his head. If we were planning for a
yeah.
really nice headshot,
And
the
I
enemy
think,
moves, the gust of wind comes, a
yeah,
horse comes in between, that's it. So this is what Cicero says as well, that your attachment should be till where the arrow is, and that's it. You've done your job. You've done your
and
job. You
I
should be
think
happy. You should be proud. That's it.
that could be applied to everything you do in life. Yeah,
Everything,
like,
with your fight as well. With your fight as well. Look, you are doing these things.
yeah,
This is why I am saying, I sent you the voice note as well. This is the state of mind. Okay, guys. By the way, Prameet has shared his workout sheet with me as well, and over there he tracks his workouts. So far, he's going at a tremendous rate. I'm really proud of him, and I see that he's doing his workouts. He's doing his things. He has his all of his workout lists, his cold shower listed. Now you're doing your thing. What happens on fight day? We don't know. We really
exactly,
don't know.
exactly.
Until you step in the ring is where your arrow is in your bow. After that, it is not up to you. What is up to you is to make yourself proud, put in your practices, put in your teaching.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, even then, at the end of the day, like even my attempt is A1. I do everything I do to win the fight. Maybe the refs are not having a good day, or whatever. It could be anything, right? You get to the bus stop on time, but the bus doesn't come. Right? It's your attempt that matters, and the outcome is not in your control. And because it's not in your control, you are absolutely wasting your energy just thinking about it, and it's just going to make it worse. It's not going to make it better for you, right? And that is something very hard to do, but it gets better and better with the practice. So I would say just practice, keep practicing. like anything, you know.
Keep suffering voluntarily, man.
Yeah,
It's
don't put
just so
yourself in a comfortable
important.
situation.
Yes.
So,
And realize that you have the power to perceive outcomes and how to feel about it. The founder of Stoicism, Zeno, he, this guy is an ancient Greek, rich guy, rich merchant.
hmm,
And how he finds Stoicism is when his entire fortune is lost at sea. Now, any of us weaklings, any of us weak people would just imagine you've lost millions of dollars per se in a snap, right? And
hmm.
to what? To weather circumstances, things you never saw coming, right?
Yeah,
How would you feel? You would, I don't know, like you would give up on life because you've lost so many things. And this guy says, okay, what is next? What do I do next? How do I make my life better from here on out? That's it. That is
yeah,
dichotomy of control.
yeah,
That is such an amazing way of thinking, because you are saying that, I was supposed to, like, just imagine what Zeno would be thinking. Like, he's saying, I have to go because at that time there's no cargo plane, there's no there's no insurance. So at that time, these
yeah.
guys have to take these seas, and their ships are made out of just wood and fabric and ropes and this sort of thing, so they're not built to protect, right? And he's lost everything, and now he's exercising unknowingly. By the way, he's not aware, he hasn't developed the philosophy of Stoicism. He's just unknowingly exercising his ability, his dichotomy of control, and he's saying, okay, how do I make my life better from here on out? Because this was something that was not under my control. I was supposed to take this route, I was supposed to make this trip. I did not have Google to forecast the weather,
Yeah.
and this happened, it happened, can't do anything about it.
It's just that at the end of the day, it's just given the circumstances and the reality you're in, what is the best move possible you have, right? It's when you think like that, things come very simple and easy, and you can get to the decision. It's almost like two plus two. But because you have your mind thinking, oh, it was like this, but oh, I'm poor now, but I had $1 million, you know, it's just your mind creates an alternative reality, which you fall victim to, and you think that is how reality should be, and you fall victim to that and suffer. Suffering again is all in here. It's all mental, right? Even the physical aspect of it is mental. You could be suffering physically, but you could be enjoying it. It's how you perceive it mentally that,
Absolutely.
you know. So just being in the present moment, realizing what the current circumstances are, and just taking your action based on that. You know how I don't. Andrew Tate says this is a very controversial personality, and I don't.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
He has his look. He has his own things, and like there's always good or bad things. I mean, we
with
can't even
everyone.
say them.
Yeah,
It's subjective. It's subjective.
exactly. But I just want to. He gives this one analogy, which I think is very cool, and people would like it as well. It's just that think of life as a chessboard, and what is the current looking at the board as of now, what is your best move possible? Forget about if you lost your queen or if you lost your knight or you lost your castle or half of your pawns are gone. Forget about that. Looking at the current board, what is the best move possible and do that best move possible. You know what I mean? So that's how you should go about living life as well. And much of Stoicism teaches that as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love how we're able to incorporate these philosophies, these amazing ideas into our life, so that, like, for the people who are listening to this, our friends, our family, our brothers and sisters all around the world, to help them understand the fact that these practices, just by taking a cold shower, just by supplying good oxygen to your organs, just by understanding that your effort, your practice is actually the outcome that you're looking for rather than the result. I mean, just these are superpower. These are things that, honestly, just like how Jules said, that if I had known this earlier in my life, life would be so much simpler.
Yeah.
Like, things would be so much like the future could have been just amazing. But this is another topic we have to talk about,
Yeah.
how basically we suffer right now to establish a future version of ourselves that we want. So I mean, these
Yeah.
are just profound topics which do not have any end, and if we keep talking about these things,
Yeah. We've already talked
these
like
podcasts will never
50
end.
minutes on it, and there's so much that I could
There's so
talk
much
about.
left. There's so much left that we wanted to talk about, but again, we
Yeah.
cannot, because we
Exactly.
believe in not stuffing things here. I mean, Pramit and I have, with
Just flows
every episode,
naturally. Authentic,
Absolutely,
yeah,
and you know what? I
authenticity.
believe that what we're building a very important skill, and that is about listening and talking. Now, these are you'll be like, duh. I
Letting
mean,
things
of course,
flow.
this is
Yeah.
yeah, this is what you guys are doing, but you're not seeing it in a very granular level.
Hmm.
Listening
Hmm.
is a skill that none of us have. Trust me.
Yeah.
We do not listen to understand. We listen to reply, or we listen to
Yeah.
just like
Yeah. That's the
discard it.
biggest
Yeah, it's
problem.
exactly.
That's the biggest problem. And
I am guilty of this. I am totally guilty of this. And while having these conversations with you and during this podcast, I have developed, like, I would say, like, I'm in level 0.5 where I am now finally listening to understand what the other person is saying and then process it and then actually say something in addition to it that adds
it's a
value rather than just to
superpower.
reply. Yeah,
It's a superpower. You
absolutely.
can really like genuinely find a way to empower someone on another level just through listening, and then obviously asking the right questions, or taking them on the right path to lead them in the right direction. But there's again so much, like you mentioned, we could talk about,
Amazing.
but we'll end it here.
Amazing.
I just want to say, cold shower is one thing that could be applied to anyone, right? No matter what gender you are, what religion you follow, young, small, good, bad, whatever ethnicity, whatever color, it doesn't matter. Anyone can, because everyone is at the end of the day human. Everybody has a heart. Everybody has blood flowing through their body, right? And it's something that is very needs to be done very voluntarily. So it has those mental. Once you overcome that mentally, it will like you will genuinely see it, you know, channel into other things you do in life, and it's certainly changed my life in a lot of ways. And I just wanted to, I've shared it with you so many times. Obviously you're my brother, so I just
Yes.
really want you to get into it as
Hey
well.
man, look, I want to try. You said young, small, this, that, oh, low. Guys, everything applies until unless you're living in the GCC countries during June, July. Those 2 months you can't do cold shower.
You could
But
still
still,
get a one of
yeah,
those
I would.
buckets and put ice in it, which is what I'm gonna do eventually as well. As I keep challenging myself, because obviously now I'm used to like cold showers now, but it's good I started in summer. Now I'm approaching winter. The water keeps getting colder and colder
No,
and
this
colder.
listen. This is there's a I don't know if you know about cryotherapy.
I've done cryotherapy a lot of
Yeah,
times.
I mean you
I've
have
done the extreme one, which goes to like
exactly.
minus 200 degrees.
So these guys, these top athletes, they have those cryo chambers at their house now. Like LeBron has it, even Joe Rogan has it, I believe. These
Yeah.
people are doing cryotherapies as well. So this is something, guys. If these top performers are doing these things, damn, what are we doing then?
Yeah, 100%. I'm all about like human potential and biohacking tools and all of that. And this is something I've been recently been experimenting with. And it's just I'm just scratching the surface here, but it's
You
amazing.
know what?
But
I'm gonna send you a subreddit on biohacking on
yeah,
Reddit. There's pretty interesting stuff going on over there in that field.
I want to catch up a lot with Reddit, and it's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah,
Reddit is another. We should do one episode entirely
yeah,
on
yeah.
Reddit.
We will for sure. But let's cut it here. Did you
Yes.
have any last words?
I think we're good, guys. I just
Take cold shower.
practice. Yeah, do that and practice and search about dichotomy of control. That's it.
Yeah,
Do your own research.
and do both of those things. And I've shared a way you could, obviously through that self affirmations and talking back to yourself and not letting the mind giving a chance to talk back to you while you're in the shower makes it a bit easier. Do your own research, go through your own things, comprehend the information in your own way, make your own judgments. But we just wanted to introduce it to you so you have this awareness now, and maybe it will get some curiosity going in you to look up these things, and hopefully you start and get a good habit out of it. And that's all we're trying to do here. I hope, and we hope, certainly you got some value out of this. Please support us in any way you can. It really means a lot to us. And if you do try the cold showers, do let us think what you think about cold showers, what your experience it, whether it was, if you tried it, if you didn't try it, what the struggle was. Trust me, I struggled a lot in the beginning as well. So it's a process to it. So only by sharing these struggles and talking about it, we can overcome them, right? So Share with us what your struggles are. If you tried them, what you think of them. You see the benefit in them, you don't see the benefit, and whatever it may be. We're just trying to engage in this conversation. So yeah, support us in any way you can, and we will see you next Sunday.
All right, guys, take care. Ciao.
Bye bye.